Your speech is entitled Smart Power, America and Global Poverty. Why America and global poverty?
Because extreme poverty, about 1 billion people make $1 or less a day. About 3 billion, half the population of the planet, make $2 or less a day, is an enormous contributor to instability, to insecurity, to threats to America, because it creates environments where political instability thrives, where people can't control the spread of disease, where they don't have, because of the economic situation, they don't have access to clean water or adequate food. Those are just examples of every single one of those things converge to create insecurity.
So specifically, tangibly, if you were president, what would you have done? What could the president do to reduce that global poverty?
If I were making the decisions myself, I would focus on 3 or 4 things. One is education. We've got about 100 million children in this world who don't get any education at all. Making primary school education available to them, which is something America shouldn't do alone, but if America makes a substantial contribution and brings others with us, we can do for $2.5–3 billion a year.
And what would that be? What would that look like?
It would mean the kids in Africa who today, and in Pakistan and across the Middle East, who don't have any education, or some of them being educated in dangerous places like madrasas, they would have primary school education.
But how would you be getting education for $2.5–3 billion? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about America putting its stake in. Secondly, reaching out to other wealthy countries and saying, you have a stake for the same reason we do in this effort. What's been missing is American leadership on this. And without American leadership, we're the most powerful nation on the earth. Nothing happens. We've got to be reaching out to other wealthy, industrialized nations and saying, join us in this effort.
You talked about 2 or 3 things. Education was one of them. What were some of the others?
One of the things that I proposed was something called a National Marshal Corps, where we would have 10,000 people in the government who work for the government, whose job it is to do all the things I just spoke about, to help with global education, to help with stopping the spread of disease, to make clean water and sanitation available in places it doesn't exist, the kinds of things that America should be doing in the world. And those 10,000 people would be America's ambassadors and experts in implementing the kind of policy that I've talked about. One of the things I've learned myself from my time I've spent in Asia and in Africa is really simple things that we take for granted in America, like clean drinking water, are inaccessible in many parts of the world, particularly in the third world. Sanitation, clean living conditions don't exist. And all those things, of course, are contributors to poverty, to the spread of disease, to the instability that all of us are concerned about. So there's another place where America, again, with its own infrastructure and cooperating with an international effort, can make a real difference.